Hey, I'm Kat. Welcome to my channel and today's video, which is going to be a book haul. But I have not bought a single one of these books, which is very, very nice to say. So this is a book haul of things that I recently brought home from my parents' house. So I have not lived at my parents' in, I don't know, 12 years, but I had a crazy amount of books there from when I was a teenager that I finally was able to bring back to my home because I live like a 12-hour drive away from them. And in the past, I would bring like one or two in my suitcase every time I came home. But for the first time in ages, my husband and I drove my parents' place and basically loaded up our truck with as many books as I find that I wanted. Except, I will say my dad has this wonderful collection of Stephen King books that like basically the original editions that were published in the 80s, and I want those. That is going to be my goal for next time I go, is to like try to collect all of those because they are like, I don't know, I love an old book. I love a book that looks very used and just very, very old and well loved. And also I'm a sucker for terrible covers, and you know, a lot of these books have those. So that's for another day. But basically today we have a huge collection of books. We have a huge collection of books that I would have read and loved in my teenage years, and just editions that I collect for a lot of time and then, I don't know, never really thought of again. But a lot of these are books that I haven't read in many, many years and haven't thought of many years either, but glad to finally have them and put on my shelves, which is going to be a whole other problem of trying to find room to fit all of these. But yeah, a lot of these, I really have no idea what I brought. I just grabbed a ton of things off the shelf, and let's just look into. So most of these, I think they're all mostly YA and, you know, just nostalgic. So I'm excited to get into this, and I hope you are too, which if you haven't already, also would love if you would consider subscribing and let me know. I think I want to do a reading vlog at some point of rereading my teenage favorites, and a lot of these could be focused in it. So let me know if you're interested. This also might be a bit of chaos because I know I have a lot of series and I don't think they're all organized together. So we'll figure it out as we go. First I have the Hunger Games books, and these, like, look how old these are. These were the ones that were originally published. Also, like, oh my god, these are dusty, and they are, oh my god, these are so disgustingly dusty. I love it. My parents definitely just like put this on the shelf, forgot about it. But yeah, I have Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay, one of my all-time favorite series. Of course, I mean, everyone loves Hunger Games, but I do very, very distinctly remember grabbing these, I think when I was in grade 9, and just becoming obsessed. Finally, and also I've wanted to own like editions of these again for so long. I just have been like purposely not buying them because I knew I had editions on my clearance. Just gonna super quickly mention very old editions of Harry Potter. Will never repurchase these, probably will never reread them, but want them on my shelves. I do not support the author, and that is the only mention we're gonna have of those today. All right. Oh, also The Cursed Child. I know my brother bought me this at some point, so I own it and I have it. I finally have all my Twilight books back. And oh man, these were such a special memory for me. And I have been trying to fight for so many years and just say that Twilight was horrible, and, you know, not wanting to admit how much I love it. But let's just be basic and admit that Twilight was my everything for so many years. I hate the movies, but these books were so important to me. And, you know, for so many years I was trying to reject the fact that I love these and really try not to admit it, try not to be as, like, in my mind I was like, oh, you're so basic to pretend that you like, to say that you like these. I fucking love Twilight. You know what? It started a love of vampire romances for me, and I 100% will admit that now. I am so down to just fully admit this and, you know, proudly display these on my shelves. I don't know, like my old mindset of like I like so for so many years was to be like, oh, I'm not like other girls, I don't like Twilight. Fuck that, I love Twilight. My only complaint is that only like 2 of the books are paperback and 2 are hardcover. I kind of wish that, you know, teenage me had cared more about keeping them all consistent and all editions consistent. But I do know that's entirely because Eclipse and Breaking Dawn I was buying the day they came out, and I was not waiting for paperback, so I needed these on my shelf. This is another one I so distinctly remember the first time I read Twilight, which I think I was around 13 or 14. I was homesick from school. I had completely lost my voice, and I remember sitting in my parents' basement and reading the first Twilight book and getting freaked out because I was like, oh my god, vampires, so scary, but also like, oh my god, I love this. I am obsessed. And yeah, it led to a many year-long obsession, and I don't know, maybe partially inspired my emo phase that I had for a lot of years. But anyway, I'm happy to own these. And similarly, The Host by Stephanie Meyer. I do not remember if this was good. I mean, teenage me would have liked it. Adult me probably will think that this is crap. I don't remember much about it aside from there's aliens who can get into people's bodies maybe, and some kind of alien invasion. Still excited to maybe reread it. And I know I only read it once because I didn't love it as much as Twilight, but again, I am very happy that this will now be on my shelves. Okay, one of my middle school all-time favorites. So Inkheart, Inkspell, and Ink Death by Cornelia Fung. Okay, I'm just gonna tell. Can you see how well loved this book is? How many times do you think I read this? Like, I'm sure it's in the dozens. I very distinctly remember reading this book over and over and over again, because it's basically a girl and her father who have this ability to read people out of, so if they read a book out loud, they're able to read the character out of that book. And I believe this young girl's father kidnapped and she goes on a mission to save them. Yeah, this series was very, very formative to me in middle school. It really was something that I truly cannot express how many times I read this and how obsessed I was with it. And it's another one that, like, I don't really think I'll ever reread it, but I want it, unless I do that video where I'm rereading things. And I was passionate about this series. Again, I'm slightly upset that about the editions don't match, and that one is hardcover, but what you gonna do? This is just something I need to own. By Maggie Stiefvater, we have Shiver Forever and Linger. I don't remember this series as much from her. I know it is Werewolf Shifters, and I think this was one of the first Werewolf Shifter series I read, which is another one of my all-time favorite things. Probably started off my love for that. Don't remember too much about it, but enough that I wanted to own them all. Okay, this is the one book that I have not read and that I just kind of took from my dad. Shogun. So this is the book that the very, very popular TV show is based off of. Love the show. My husband and I watched it last year and binged it so. And I'm curious to see what it's like in writing. We really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the Japanese history that took place. This one is basically a Englishman who lands on the shores of Japan, and I don't know what starts becoming embedded in their culture / working alongside them. I don't know how to describe it, but kind of really want to read this book and see what it's like. I think two random Rick Riordan books, The Blood of Olympus and The Serpent Shadows. These are different series. So this is book 5 of The Heroes of Olympus and book 3 of The Kane Chronicles. 90% sure my brother owns the rest of these, and I just kind of stole these ones. So I think at some point I'm gonna have to try to find those other ones / take them for my brother, because I don't think he'll ever care if he owns them. Yeah, I love Rick Riordan. This was a very, very integral my middle school years, as well as the Percy Jackson series was a huge one for me. And yeah, I kind of just grabbed these off the shelves that my parents told me were mine. So I don't know. I need to go and see what else my brother owns from those. Then I have City of Bones, City of Ashes, City of Glass, which these were a series that were, I would say, some of my first paranormal fantasy / romantasy. And again, like, I have to say, very integral to my reading. Really stood my reading taste for so many years. I think that these are where my love of urban fantasy have come from, because they do take place primarily in New York, and it's magical creatures living alongside humans and living in secret, which is something that I deeply love in books. And yeah, love these so much. I remember, yeah, this is one my parents randomly got it for me and my brother for Christmas one year, and we binged it. We binged so late. And another series that we just read over and over again, which is so common for so many of these series we're talking about, is that I own these and I would probably read them like 3-4 times a year. A lot of these books, which is wild. Currently could never. I also had a weird habit when I was a teen. I would read a book and then immediately reread it. Like within minutes of ending it, I would just pick it back up and read again. Which honestly, like, how did that manage to keep my attention that long? Because like current me could never. I thought I owned more in these series and I just couldn't find it. But Vampire Academy and Bloodlines, which, if I am not mistaken, first book in both these series. So Vampire Academy, again, one of my all-time favorite vampire romances and one of my favorite things ever. And then Bloodlines spin-off series that I do believe this is first book in. In this one, we're following just a vampire guardian and the royal that she follows, and really enjoy the world that's built in this one. One of my all-time favorite vampire series, and yeah, something that I'm deeply still loving. Again, not sure how I would feel about it as an adult, but loved it, read it so many times. A Dance with Dragons by George R. R. Martin. A little upset that this one does not match my like paperback editions that I have, so I might need to get a different copy. But book 5 in Game of Thrones. Shall we say the final book, Game of Thrones? Because I doubt the others will ever be released. I think when did this come out? Was it like 2012? Because I think, man, I can't even remember. I think it was 2012, because I think I had just graduated high school when this came out. Oh man, that's sad to think about. That has been so many years. But yeah, needed to bring that back. Aragon series. Again, very upset that I don't have matching editions, but I know book 3 and 4 were ones that I bought the moment they came out, and that was why like these are hard copies, is because I was not waiting until they came out. And once again, can you tell these are so well loved? The sheer amount of times I read these, like, insane. I love these original editions. I love these covers. Like, they are something very special to me. It started definitely a love of dragon romance. Not dragon romances, but just dragon books in general. Read those so many times. And I do have a special edition that I got from Owl Crate, and I'm buying, I think you can still get it, these special editions from Broken Binding. Oh, I love them so much. I want all these editions on my shelf. I love Aragon. I love Aragon so. And then we just have one final author to go through, who is Kelly Armstrong. And at one point I was trying to collect all of her books and did not work, but there's Bitten, Broken, Stolen, Industrial Magic, and Frostbitten. She did a series of paranormal romances basically, and I think there's 13 books in this series, and they're all kind of interconnected, following different types of magical creatures. So I know the first 2 books are werewolves, there's witches, there's I think vampires. Like, we're just following a bunch of different magic creatures, and I kind of really want to revisit this one. It's been many years. Again, this is another one that really got me into werewolf romances and really got me into paranormal romance world. And I think like these maybe came out like 20 years ago. I kind of really want to revisit them and see what I think, because these were a huge favorite of mine, and one that I don't really see spoken about anymore. So I'm kind of curious to see. And I've read a lot. I have a lot of YAs here too. So they're The Gathering, which is this some kind of ship romance, I think. I don't remember really liking this one that much. She has a it's a supernatural thrills. I don't know. I don't remember liking this one as much because it's not sticking in my mind. But I do have another trilogy from her, which is this one. And this one I believe is a necromancer. So this series is YA, and I believe there was a bunch of YA or teens being rounded up into like magical institutions to use their powers. Yeah, and this one she sees ghosts, and I believe get the ability, some kind of necromantic ability. Really likes one a lot. But I will say much prefer her adult series over the YA ones. Just in general, I'm not I guess even back in the day I preferred adult books over YA, but yeah, those were a huge favorite of mine. And another author I really need to revisit and like really need to see what I like from her. So there we go. That was just a very quick video going over everything that I brought back from my parents' place. And I brought back so many other random shit. Like I have so many photographs. I brought back a lot of dishes, but you know, those aren't as exciting. These are just a ton of the books that I used to own back in the day and really wanted to have on my shelves again. And now I'm gonna have to rearrange all of these and see if I can find room, which is gonna be so fun. But yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know if you are interested in me potentially rereading some of my childhood / teenage / middle grade reads. And yeah, maybe I'll do a little vlog doing that. But thanks for watching today. If you haven't already, would love if you would consider subscribing, and hopefully I'll see you in a video soon. Bye.